Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a quick comparison between the Moleskine Pocket Notebook and the Exceed Pocket Notebook. I did journal in these notebooks back to back, so I have a few things to say. So I think most people know what a Moleskine notebook is. You can find these everywhere: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target. Moleskine notebooks are very easy to find, but the Exceed notebook is actually a Walmart brand, so you can only buy this on Walmart as far as I know. That's where I buy them. And I have here the improved version of the Exceed notebook. So I own one of their older notebooks. So as you can see, here is the Exceed branding. And this one is a dupe of the Moleskine large notebook. So this one is a Moleskine. So there's the branding there. And they are the same size and width. And from what I remember, Exceed collaborated with a YouTuber and they took her feedback and improved on their notebooks, which I thought was really cool. And I think it shows because they did a lot of things right with the new notebooks. So again, I have the Pocket notebook and it is lined, but they also offer A5 dot grid notebooks, and I think they still have the Moleskine large and lined as well. So this is a dupe of the Moleskine Pocket, and as you see, they are the same width and the same height. From what I checked today, the Moleskine notebook is $13 on Amazon and the Exceed notebook is $7 on Walmart.com. So comparing the two real quick, I will say that the Moleskine hardcover here, it is thinner than the Exceed notebook. I actually do think the thinner cover feels more high quality. I think it's because of the binding. Just something about the Moleskine binding does feel better to me than the Exceed one. And also when you get a Moleskine, it does lie flat right away. So just a random spread in. These are some stickers that my son messed with. So when you buy a Moleskine, it pretty much will lie flat like that. So I have stickers on a bunch of spreads, which is why the paper is pushing up. But generally, you get a Moleskine, it'll lie flat. The Exceed notebook, I did have to train to lie flat. So when I first bought this notebook, the binding did feel stiff. And the notebook didn't lay flat. But as I used it more and more, I did manage to train it. So again, another one of my son's spreads, but it does lay flatter over time. So it still kind of pushes forward. As you can see here, there's this gap here. So it will tend to do that, but it doesn't close all the way. So it does make for a more comfortable writing experience over time, but I still do have to push down the paper to be able to write. Now, that might not be a bother to you. This spine is very much trainable. I didn't really bother training it very hard. The spine just kind of broke down the more I used it, but you can definitely train it. And as far as I know, the Pocket Notebook for Exceed only comes in lined. Moleskine does offer the Pocket Notebook in dot grid and grid as well as lined. So as you see here, I do have the dot grid version. So if you're very specific about what kind of paper formatting you want, then Moleskine might be the one for you. But if you're fine with just lined paper, I think Exceed kind of comes out ahead. And I will show you right now. It's because this paper, it is way more fountain pen friendly than the Moleskine. So if you've been on YouTube long enough, you might be aware that Moleskine kind of has a reputation with their paper. It's not the most fountain pen friendly paper, and they tend to be inconsistent with paper quality. So this notebook has the blue quality sticker here, which is supposed to be the good batch. But even this one couldn't handle fountain pen. So here is a sample page I wrote down. This is Sailor Shikiori Doyo. And as you can see, the bleed through is pretty bad. And even a regular gel pen, so this is the Pilot Precise V5 RT, even that bled through pretty bad on this paper. The Zebra Sarasa did fine. So if you are to use a Moleskine notebook, I recommend the Zebra Sarasa gel pens because they've all held up well on Moleskine. But if you're a fountain pen person, you might want to reconsider. I do have some more ink samples here. So this is the Lamy Tourmaline ink. If you look closely, I was messing with this page, but if you look closely, there is some pretty bad bleed through there. And then this ink is the Diatramentus Document ink. Again, bleed through is pretty bad, so here's a Lamy Tourmaline. That's a better idea. And then this is the Diatramentus Document ink in Fuchsia. There's a bit of bleed through as well. So fountain pen inks are really finicky on this paper. And since I use pocket notebooks for daily journaling, that is kind of an issue. And I have gotten back into fountain pens lately, so the paper quality is a factor for me again when I'm journaling. So for the Exceed brand, I have some sample pages here. So this is Noodler's X Feather, and there's no bleed through. There is some ghosting still, but I don't mind ghosting, but the bleed through is non-existent. And this is the Atramantis Document ink in Fuchsia. It's one of my favorite inks, so I always use it. And again, there is no bleed through. And then lastly, I have Pelikan 4001 in blue black. So I think this is a mild iron gall ink from what I researched. And again, no bleed through. So I was very impressed with this paper. I've been journaling in fountain pen inks for the last few weeks, and this paper held up really well. I think this is one of the improvements they made, because when I pull up my old Exceed notebook, I have here some fountain pen samples, and the Pilot Kakuno extra fine nib, it did bleed through here in the back. I don't know what the ink is for that. It was just the one that came with the pen, I think. But the rest did pretty well, although still some bleed through. So they did improve their paper, and I was very pleasantly surprised by that, because one of my gripes about Moleskine is the paper quality. It is very inconsistent, and I'm not a big fan of that. Even something like Filofax notebook has way better paper quality than Moleskine right now. I do have a more in-depth review of this notebook, so I will link that down below. But here was a pen test that I did some time ago, and the paper held up really well. So it really is a shame, I think, that Moleskine's paper quality is really inconsistent, especially for the price. I know that Moleskine's branding is part of the price that you pay for. It's a recognizable brand. They do have some limited edition covers that I think are really pretty, but it's hard for me to justify buying a Moleskine right now when Exceed has way better paper. And I'm very confused, because this older Moleskine notebook I have, it handled fountain pens beautifully. There's just very inconsistent quality, which is a real bummer, in my opinion. Because I do like Moleskine, I think one thing that Moleskine got right is the sizing. So they really nailed the pocket size. This feels really good in the hand when you hold it, and if you pick up a dot grid notebook, there's plenty of room for journaling, bullet journaling, planning, whatever you may need on the go. So they really got the sizing right. And even with the large size, this is way bigger, obviously, much more room, but it still feels really nice and portable in hand. Even when I kind of bulked it up with stickers and collaging here, it still feels really good to hold. It doesn't feel as bulky as an A5 notebook. That tiny bit of extra width on A5 really makes a difference in the portability. This one I feel like you can still travel with and not have any issues. I don't know. I really think that Moleskine nailed the sizing. It's just the paper that's troublesome for me. So my hope is that Moleskine will improve their paper quality over time. So at the end of the day, which one do I prefer, Moleskine or Exceed? Well, obviously it's the Exceed, right? Again, it's really hard to justify buying a Moleskine right now when Exceed just has much better paper for me. And whatever differences that Exceed has with Moleskine, it's very easily fixable. The only drawback to the Exceed notebook is that you have to train the spine, but once you do, it'll lay flat. So after that, what else does the Moleskine have that Exceed doesn't? I guess if you're looking for a dot grid notebook or a graph notebook, you'll have to get a Moleskine because that's not available in Exceed, but that's it really. If you happen to have a Walmart near you, check out Exceed. I highly recommend them. I've been really happy with their notebooks. So I am nearly finished with my Exceed notebook. So once I'm done journaling in this one, I'll show you what my next journal setup will be like. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. This is Baba Notes, and I'll see you next time. Bye!